What are we playing today?
Fort.
You started while I'm eating my naan.
I've never seen that kid before. Hello everyone, welcome to Foster the Meeple, a channel all about board games and board gamey things. If that's something you're into, then you've come to the right place.
And me winning games.
Well, we'll see. My name is Jamie.
I'm Jeff.
And today we are going to be doing a how to play video on the game
How to win Fort.
Fort from Leader Games. This game is for 2 to 4 players, plays in 20 to 40 minutes, and it was designed by Grant Roderick, and the art is by Kyle Farron. And Kyle Farron's the guy who did the art for Root.
Makes sense.
I mean, you could tell. It's very similar style. So we love this game. We've played this a few times now, and I don't know that you've won yet. But basically, this game is all about you being a kid doing what kids do, which is eating
That's pizza for the
pizza.
The layman's terms.
Playing with your toys.
Playing with toys.
Chilling with your friends.
Chilling with your friends.
Building forts.
Building forts.
Crushing it.
That was literally my childhood. Forts, games, pizza.
That's basically your adult life too. So we are going to go through, like I said, how to play, and then we are also going to do a playthrough. We'll make sure to post the playthrough immediately after this one. Without further ado, let's jump into how to play Fort.
Do you think they noticed my hat?
Best thing is it's hardly noticeable.
Yeah, it's barely noticeable on your face.
So we're going to start with setup. Okay, the very first thing you're going to do for setup is lay out the victory point track. So on the victory point track, it goes all the way from 0 to 49, but you're only going to actually need to get up to 25 to win the game.
That's crazy.
Why?
To score another 24 points after that's triggered?
Yeah, I guess. So the victory track goes at the top of the table. Then each player is going to get a player mat. So there are 4 different characters that you can get. They don't have names. Oh.
Yellow.
Yellow. This one's name is Yellow, as an example. On the player board, you have a few different things that you should probably know about. Number 1 is your stuff. This is where you keep your toys and pizza.
It's literally called your stuff, too.
She's called stuff. Then there's your pack, and that's where you put your stuff.
Your backpack.
Your backpack.
Your backpack.
Then there's the fort tracker, and that's how you build your fort. Keep track of building your fort.
Yep.
And then up at the top, it says yard, and that's where you put your friends once you're done with them.
They're chilling in your yard.
Just chilling in your yard.
You can't stay in the... Yeah, get out of the fort. You're stuck in the yard. It's like no man's land.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then also on your player board, it goes through your entire turn summary, so you can't say you forget how to do it because it's literally right in front of you the whole game. And then on the back of the board, it shows you who your best friends are.
Sick.
So Yellow's best friends are Bud and Rusty. So each player gets a player board. Then you're also going to give each player one of these suckers. And this is just a reference card that shows you literally all of the symbols that you're going to come across during the game so that you don't forget. It makes it really hard for
symbols on the cards.
Yeah, symbols on the cards. Then each player is going to get a little tiny token. Actually, they're going to get 2. One has a symbol on it that's unique to each character. So for an example, yellow is shovels. And then they're also going to get another little yellow one that has a fort symbol on it. And that is going to be placed on your fort tracker, and the other symbol is going to be placed on the victory track to mark your victory points. Okay?
Yep.
Do you understand?
I got it.
Cool.
I already know how to play.
Then you also have your toys and your pizza tokens, which you put somewhere to the side of the board for easy access. You gotta be able to get to the pizza and the toys.
They're the foundation to your childhood.
You have these red-purple cards, and these are called made-up rules. Red-purple. It's kind of like my shirt. They're the same color. So you're gonna want to shuffle these up, and then you draw...
Shuffle.
Yeah, you draw the number of players that you have plus 1. So for a 2-player game, that would be 3 cards.
3-player would be 4.
Exactly.
How many for a 4-player? 5.
5.
Right? Yeah.
Then you're going to want to take the 3 cards that you drew at random and don't look at them at all. You just face them.
3-player because it's a 2-player game.
Yeah, you place them face down next to your victory track.
I love that they actually named it Made Up Rules, like a kid would.
Exactly. Yeah,
They're so. This game is so clever.
Then you have these blue cards with little trophies on them. Same deal. You're going to shuffle these up. You're going to draw the number of players plus 1. So for a 2-player game, that's
3.
Exactly.
How many for a 4-player game?
5.
hesitation was real.
Yeah. So you're going to take these and you're going to put these face up so everybody can see them above the victory track. Then you're going to take the Macaroni Sculpture card and you're also going to put that next to the victory track. We'll explain what that does later. Then each player is going to take their 2 best friend cards from the best friend deck and they're going to put them into their hand to shuffle in with the rest of their cards, which brings me to the rest of the cards. You've got a big stack of cards here.
Big stack.
These are all the friends you can make. Look at the possibilities.
So many friends.
Flush with friends.
Some of them do special things.
They almost all do special things.
You're building out your arsenal of friends.
So you're going to shuffle up this card. You're going to shuffle up these cards.
Shuffle up that card.
Okay, just like that. You see that sweet shuffle job? Then each player is going to get 8 cards from the deck. They're going to put those into their hand, and you're going to put the remainder of the deck next to the victory track and pull the top 3 cards from the deck and put them into the park. So with the 8 cards that each player gets, they're going to shuffle in their 2 best friend cards, and that creates their deck.
And where do you find the best friends again?
On the back of the player board.
Back of the player board.
Then you're going to draw up to 5 cards and then you can actually start to play the game. Bravo, we have finished setup and it only took us 13 minutes to talk about it. Now we're actually going to go into gameplay. Gameplay is very simple.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So you're going to start by choosing the first player randomly. We use the chooser app. You could do it by playing rock, paper, scissors or whatever you want to do.
Wrestle to the death.
Wrestle to the death. And the first player gets this sweet Lucky Rock, cool art rock.
Sweet.
That says
got a
first
4-leaf
player.
clover on it.
Now you go back and forth starting with the first player in a very simple turn order, which once again is written on your player map.
Right on the old player map, people.
The first thing that you do during your turn, you're actually going to skip during round 1, and that's discard your yard. So we'll talk about that maybe kind of in reverse order.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, okay, so what you're going to do is play a card. You can only play 1 card on your turn, so you have to look at all of your hand, pick 1 card to play. Now there's a little bit of a caveat to this, but you're going to choose 1 card to play from your hand. So you're going to play a card from your hand, and on each card there's 2 different types of actions that you could take. There's a public action and there's a private action.
Bet you can figure out what that means.
Can they? So the private action only you can do. The public action can also be followed by the other players of the game. It's kind of like follow the leader when you're a little kid.
Yep, if they can meet the conditions to do the action.
If they can meet the conditions. So you're going to play a card. You're going to do whatever the actions say. You can do them in any order. You could do your private action first, or you could do your public action first, or vice versa. So each card also has a different suit, which comes into play for some of the card actions that you're able to do. So there's squirt guns, glue, skateboards, and shovels.
And crowns.
And crowns, and books, and wild symbols.
There's way more than you had thought.
Way more than I at first thought.
It's right here. Also on your reference sheet at the top, there are, as stated, squirt gun, skateboard, shovel, glue, crown, book, and coin.
Coin, which is a wild
Which
card.
is wild. It can count as any suit.
So as an example, if you want to play Kitty, Kitty has a glue symbol up here. For Kitty, she can collect toys for every glue symbol that she has. So the glue that's on this card counts as 1 symbol, but if you happen to have other glue cards in your hand, that's when you can actually play more than 1 card. So you can lay Kitty down, and then you can also lay down Doodles, because he also has glue, which is now actually going to give you 2 toys. So you're getting a toy or a resource, it might be pizza, for each symbol that you have.
So your first card is the card that you're taking the actions off of, the 2 actions. Any card that you use after that fact, you're only using it for the top left symbol, in this case the glue.
Yes.
You're not taking the actions, you're just using the suit.
Exactly. And you can also use the coin or the wild card for any of those. So if I happen to have Puddin', who has a wild symbol, then I could also use her and she can count as a glue. So that's how you play more than 1 card. So after you play a card, the other players can follow your public action, like I mentioned before. In order to follow a public action, they must be able to give up a card that has that same symbol. So if I played Kitty with a glue stick and Jeff wanted to follow, he would have to discard a card that also has glue on it.
Or
a wild card. Now, when he does that, let's just say he has 3 glues in his hand, he can only play one of those and get the benefit once. Whereas if you're the active player, I could play 4 glues down and get 4 toys. He can only do it once.
Yeah, you can only follow with 1 card.
Exactly. And if some cards give you an option of what type of resource you want to choose, pizza or a toy, the person who follows has to take the same resource that the active player took. Very important to know.
That is important to know.
So the next step that you could do is to recruit. So to recruit, you have a few different options, and recruit is basically you're recruiting friends to help you build your fort. So you can recruit from the park, which when you'll remember from setup is where we place those 3 cards. You can recruit any of the kids from there. You can also take the top card of the deck. You just don't know what you're going to get.
Yep.
Or you can recruit from someone else's yard. So we mentioned that at the beginning, that the very first step is to discard your yard. So that falls into the next step, which is discarding. So when you discard your hand, you actually put all of the cards that you didn't use, with the exception of your best friends, into your yard. And you place those facing the other character so they're able to recruit them in the next round. So you can recruit from someone else's yard, and that's literally just taking one of their cards. So it's really important which cards you choose to play. You have to check and see what's in your hand, because if it's a card that you don't want to lose, then you kind of have to be creative or just be willing to lose them.
Yeah, and you will get to a point where people will know, especially in a 2-player game, what types of cards you want to have in your hand.
Yeah.
So then there's that strategy of I'm going to take the card even though I might not need it. I know you need it, so I'm going to take it from your yard.
Exactly. That's how you recruit, and that's also how you discard. Like I said, put everything into your yard except for your best friends. And your best friend cards are noted with a star on the bottom, so you'll always know which ones they are.
You never lose them. They never go to your yard. They're your best friends.
Best friends.
They never leave you.
Ever. And then the very last thing that you do is you draw back up to 5 cards from your deck. So this is a deck building game, so your deck is going to get bigger depending on how you play. Sometimes when Jeff and I play, all we do is steal each other's friends, so our decks remain pretty small. But if you are constantly recruiting from the park or from the deck, then your deck is going to get quite large. So there is one other thing that I wanted to mention on the player board itself. There's also a section on the player board called your lookout. And there are cards that you can get that allow you to put cards in your lookout. So you take one card from your hand. You could take any card that you want, including your best friend, and you tuck that under your board. And then that is a symbol that you will always have when you're trying to do other things. So kind of like with Kitty, if you wanted to get 1 toy per glue stick and you had a glue stick in your lookout, then you can use that to get an extra toy.
On your turn. It doesn't count on the follow-up.
Correct. So that's your turn, and then it flips over to the next person, and then it just goes back and forth and back and forth and back and forth until somebody wins. We should mention a few other things just about how stuff works and your pack works and everything. You're going to collect stuff from your cards, resources that you gather. In your stuff section, you can only carry 4 toys, 4 pizzas. That's all you can have. So you really want to get stuff into your pack. There are cards that allow you to put stuff into your pack, but you really just need to be mindful for both your pack and your lookout that you can only have resources or cards in your lookout in here up to your 1 plus your fort. So if you're at level 0, you can only have 1 thing in your pack, 1 card in your lookout. And if you're at level 1, you can have
2 lookout cards max and 2 items in your pack.
Yes. And it's really helpful to have items in your pack. So when you pay for things, like when you pay for fort levels, you can use them from your pack or from your stuff.
Little tiny bit of resource management. Very un petit peu.
Just un petit peu. There's a few different ways that the game actually ends. Like I mentioned before, if you hit that 25 points on the victory track, the game ends. Or if you're the first person to complete level 5 of your fort, the game ends there as well. The other way to end the game, which we didn't mention, is if the park deck completely runs out of cards.
We've never had that happen.
We've never had that happen, but it's probably more likely with more players.
4-player game, that would likely happen.
And if you're not stealing friends as much.
Yeah.
So in order to go up the fort level track, you have to acquire and play cards that allow you to increase your fort level. So the cards have a little flag that say fort. You're going to play that, and then you have to pay whatever resources it says that you need to pay on the fort level tracker. So to go up to your first level of fort, you have to pay 2 random resources. When you get to the first level of the fort, that's when the made-up rules come into play. The first person to reach level 1 of their fort gets to look at all of those made-up rules, and they get to choose one, and then they keep it secret. Because a made-up rule is a way for you to get extra victory points by the end of the game. As an example, we have the loner. That's sad. The loner says at the end of the game, you score 5 extra victory points if you have no best friends. A way to get rid of your best friends is by tucking them into your lookout. You see? Smart.
The board actually designates the first level of fort with a red ring and a little symbol underneath it, matching the back of the card. So
you are reminded.
It's pretty easy to remember that happens at the first fort level.
Then when you go up to the second fort level, you have to pay a toy, a pizza, and a random resource of any kind, and you get to look at those perk cards that we put up at the top of the victory track, face up. So the benefit, obviously, of reaching any of these fort levels first is that you get first choice of the made-up rules. And not only that, you actually get to look at all the made-up rules so you have an idea of what the other person or people might be trying to do. And you get first choice of the perks. So a perk is something that you might get right away. It might be a recurring benefit that you get. As an example, the recycling perk says, anytime on your turn, you may trash this card to add a card from your discard into your hand. So it's just a little perk, a little benefit that you get.
A little perk.
So that's at level 2. Then you can go level 3, 4, and 5. Each level, it designates on the board of what type of resources you have to play.
White
to actually
is
get
random resource.
White is whatever you want it to be. And then at the very last level of the fort, level 5, the first person to reach level 5 gets the elusive Macaroni Sculpture.
Macaroni Sculpture.
Who doesn't want this? The first person who gets there gets a Macaroni Sculpture, which says when you take this card, finish this round, then end the game. At the end of the game, you score 4 extra victory points.
And I do believe it's equal turn. So if first player ends the game, the other player gets to finish their turn.
So it ends with everybody having an equal amount of turns because that's only fair.
Yep. Also, the macaroni thing reminds me of, I don't know if you did this as a kid, but you'd have macaroni on a plate and you'd glue it with all the glitter.
I think that's kind of what they were going for there. I should just say once again how you win. You have to count victory points up by at the end of the game. So that includes the victory track, that includes your fort level, made up rules if you have any, and of course your macaroni sculpture, and whoever has the most points at the end is victorious.
So you may trigger the end game first, you may reach 25 first, but you could still end up losing because points are then calculated based off of all these other things that could have happened or will happen. So
that is in a nutshell how you play Fort. If you want to see the game in action and if you would like to see me win, please hop over to our
Jeff.
playthrough where Jeff and I will duke it out to see who builds the best fort.
Who's the guy that does that? He does it in The Voice, I think.
Oh, it's
the country singer dude.
Blake Shelton. Why is mine's weird?
Ew.
Like a worm.
Ew.
Cool, so we'll see you on our other video if you're interested, but if not, thank you for at least watching this video. If you like what you see, please subscribe to Foster the Meeple.
Yep.
Follow us on social media at Foster the Meeple on Instagram.
Yep.
Leave us some comments below.
Yep.
All right, see you guys later. Say goodbye.
Wario hat would be sweet.
Say goodbye.
Later days.
Bye. Well, I'm bright.
Don't mind me.
How come I'm always so bright in here?
Because you're closer to the window. Welcome
Sorry, the dog.
to the channel with the greatest, best wall decor.
Do you like our black wall?
Do you like our plain black wall?
I want to put Star Wars pictures up there.
You can't even see it.
Well, we're not started yet. Jeff, watch my nails.
Bam, 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 bam. Did you just say watch my nails?
Yeah.
Why would you paint them immediately before we come on a video? Like,
I was waiting for you to munch lunch. Okay.
What was his name?
I don't know.
It's a Step Brothers quote.
If you didn't get it, you'll never get it.
I don't know.
Ugh, yeah, I really shouldn't have done my nails immediately before this.
Cut. Devin. Makeup.
Is this victory point track?
This is ridiculous.
I'm gonna itch my
Devin, makeup today is terrible.
Rude. I did it myself. So the very first thing you're gonna lay out
Too many
on the table.
malfunctions.
The very first. Oh my god.
Oh my God.
The very first thing that I'm gonna smack you. The very first thing you're gonna lay on the table.
You really
is your
don't like when I interrupt.
Can you please stop? Because I'm actually going to punch you.
Oh my goodness!
I swear to God, if you do it again, I'm literally gonna lose it.
I won't, I promise. I'm in your head now.
I don't believe you.
All I can smell is Jamie's fingernail polish. Like,
Then each player is. Whoop. Where did it go? I dropped it into the toys and pizza.
is that only at a 2-player game?
Beats the hell out of me. All right, let's rewind. Beep, beep. Backing it up. Jeff is being very rude.
Why are you so mad at me?
Mario would never be that rude.
Oh my goodness.
What are you, Wario?
No, I'm Mario.
Mario.